watch a movie, then he'll tell you all about it. It's the Armstrong Entertainment Show.
Hello everyone and welcome to Armstrong Entertainment. This is Chad here and I watch the Netflix documentary true crime series Night Stalker, The Hunt for a Serial Killer. Now, this 4-part series tells the story of how one of the most notorious serial killers in America was hunted down and brought to justice. It's primarily told through the eyes of the 2 lead detectives of the case, and they also go into a lot of the victims, would-be victims, and their stories. And if you know absolutely nothing about this case, this is one of those like heavy hitters, top 10 serial killers of all time. If you know nothing about Richard Rimarez, the Night Stalker, then I'm going to get into information in detail. So if you don't want to know anything about this case and you have by the grace of God, not heard about this serial killer and don't want to know anything else, stop watching now. But this is more of a discussion, my thoughts and feelings towards this whole case. So like I said, Richard Rimarez, the Night Stalker, is one of the most notorious serial killers of all time. If you are any sort of true crime junkie like I am, you already pretty much know everything about him. I will be honest though, I kind of forget the details, and after watching this series, I realize why. It's because he is so pathetic. He is such a freaking coward. This guy is the epitome of evil, yes, and it's just the way he has no rhyme or reason. His actions just make absolutely no sense. He kills men, he kills women, children, he rapes, he molests, he kidnaps, he kills some people who are sleeping on couches, he lets some people go. He's just all over the place, and it's just so frustrating to watch. I mean, what a freaking coward to go break into somebody's house and shoot them in the head while they're sleeping. I don't want to say I don't like this serial killer, if you know what I mean, but he's such a hard person to watch, and just by watching his crimes that he committed, it's just disgusting. And in particular, Richard Rimarez is one of my least favorite serial killers. I really enjoy how they did not try and humanize Richard Rimarez, because he's not a freaking human, and I appreciate that they focused more on the hunt to find him and the crimes themselves and the victims' family, and speaking about the victims and who they were as people, and they're just not names flashed across the screen, which kind of does happen some of the time in this series. But they really focused on the 2 detectives and what they dealt with and how it affected their lives into this hunt for this madman. So I started watching this at the stroke of midnight because I wanted to do this review as quickly as possible. So I watched this from 12 a.m. till 3 a.m. and I live in LA, and seeing these cities pop up, Glendale, that's literally the only city I can think of right now that popped up, downtown LA. I live very, very close to these areas, and watching this, I was like, ah, shit, did I lock my door? And every time my cat moved, I swear I jumped out of my seat, because it's just so, it's so unsettling to have this. I mean, I know this happened 35 years ago, but to think about this man just breaking into houses. He doesn't care if they're locked. He doesn't care if he just breaks into anything. It just there's no rhyme or reason, which is what really is unsettling. And I'm just very happy that I have an alarm system, so do not break into my house. And I also sleep with a bat near my bed. So it was just, I guess it hits closer to home a little bit, because I'm able to see where these cities are and I can visualize them in my head. And the fact that he committed like a murder in Glendale and then he drove to whatever other city he drove, I think it was Northridge. He went from Glendale to Northridge, which I know both of these cities very, very well. And him committing crimes in these 2 cities is just, it's just so crazy to me. Like, this guy was insane. Like, how do you go do something in Glendale, kill these 2 elderly people, and then you go up to Northridge and I think he raped somebody else. It's just like, what? Like, how did he have the time to do this? I guess that's not really my concern. It's just like why so much so fast? So let me talk really quick about the format of this documentary series. It's very straightforward and basic. Now, recently we have been very, very spoiled with these amazing documentary true crime series that seem to end with a cliffhanger after every single episode. I'm thinking about Don't F With Cats or The Vow. Every episode, you're like, how is this real? How did this really happen? It seems like it's not real, because it is such a perfect setup for a series. This one, however, is very straightforward and basic. Like I said, Richard Rimarez, he had no rhyme or reason. It was just all over the place, and it's just very confusing. And he is probably one of my least favorite serial killers, because he just infuriates me of what a coward, pathetic person he was. And I mean, there's no charm factor. I don't want to glorify serial killers, but I guess the thing I would get most out of this was the actual hunt for him, how they captured him, and the victims and their stories. If you enjoy true crime as much as myself, I am sure you are already watching this. If not, you have already finished it. It is called The Night Stalker: Hunt for a Serial Killer, and it is now streaming on Netflix. If there's anything you want to discuss, leave them in the comments below. I love responding to comments and hearing about people's theories and whatnot, and just hearing people's stories. Like, were any of you around in the 1980s during this? Like, what was it like to live in LA 1985 during the height of the Night Stalker? I'm very curious to know, because I know you are out there. My only advice to you would be get an alarm system. Until next time.
He'll watch a movie, then he'll tell you all about it. It's the Armstrong Entertainment Show.